We are, we are, we are, we are, we are, we are Duel Legion. Hey guys, it's LegendThatSicBoy welcoming you to the Duel Legion Network. And in today's deck profile, we're going to be taking a look at the Agents deck. Now, before you guys think I'm just throwing some Heralds in here and doing some Barons, no. We don't talk about the Herald. Strictly an Agent archetype build with its support. And primarily stand within the budget. So, just a disclaimer on that one, okay? The cards right now are pretty expensive, so I really wasn't trying to break the bank while making this deck. And still made it competitive, still made it a strong, powerful, knocker-outer deck, but definitely stood within a reasonable budget. So also, this is going to be a two-part video. So this is part one, welcome. And then the part two will be released on the same day. It'll just be part one, part two. I didn't really want to kill you guys with about an hour worth of material, so I broke it up into two parts. This part is mainly going to be focusing on the deck and the extra deck. The second part is going to be focusing on side deck and the cards of note that you can run outside, like different strategies you can play. You know how I do with the cards of note, guys. Well, for those who watch, who don't watch, usually with the cards of notes, just click on the cards of notes video, and that will explain cards of note. So definitely like and subscribe, guys. As always, comment down below if you see something, if you like something. Also, if you guys want me to start making different kind of decks, leave them down in the comments. I'll take a look at it and take a crack at it, see what I can do with it. All right, but without further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, guys? So, to kick things off, we're going to do pretty much the standard agent build, which is 3 Venus, 3 Shine Balls, little bolitas. Sorry about that. It's going to be 3 Earths, and then 3 Neptunes. Standard, you can kind of like bounce out a creation if you want to, but you want to see her in your hands a lot and get her. So, because you throw out a lot, do the Master Flare's effect. So, running 3 of them is preferable, but if you're trying to make space and go into a different route, you can definitely chop her down to 2. Wouldn't really hurt too much. You're also going to be running the 1 Destruction, like pretty much standard, right? Whether you want to play with him or not, Uranus is it's a really good card. You can special summon him when you have Sanctuary in the field, which you'll have Sanctuary in the field most of the time, and you can pretty much dump and change his level and pretty much get a sync route or dump a Earth, turn him into, get your Master Flare, your level 10s out. It's a really good card. Most people are not running him if they're trying to do like Chalice. We don't talk about the hell. But if you're sticking to strictly just agents, preferable. Okay? Moving forward, the 1 Hyperzon and the 1 Magistrate Hyperzon. You really don't want to see him in your hand. You do want to dump him. Running 2, if you want to abuse him, you can do that pretty much. But going forward, like, he's much better in the graveyard and bringing him out than he is having in your hand, because you could just empty out, so you don't have to worry about drawing him, and you still get to bring him out. Sad that Master Hyperzon is not a quick effect, but you make do with him as well. So him at a hard 1 when you're running strictly like agents is not a bad look going forward. So that is it for the agent engine, I should say, right? I think that's a proper thing to call it. Like I said, if you're trying to make space, you don't have to run pretty much that chunk. So if you want to play around with things, like if you want to throw 2 Lees and a Guard Dragon and add a whole bunch of extra shit on top of that, you definitely can. You're more than welcome to. But that's just how I'm running it, because I'm doing this build at least a strictly agent kind of build. Moving on to the non-agent monsters. In the deck, we're doing 2 Guardians, which is pretty standard right now. 2 Guardians. I went to 2 Corbane. She's basically the Cyber Dragon of the deck, and then you can search off of her with Trickstar Light Stage. So with Trickstar Light Stage, you just bring her out, special summon her, no harm, no foul, and then you could target, spell a trap on the field and destroy it by the end of the phase if they don't activate it. So pretty good card. Them together, you know, you would just go Corbane and then Eidos if you have them in your hand on your first turn. So you're automatically having 2 monsters without wasting your normal summon. So special summon in all lines, their requirements are very, very easy to bring out. Moving forward, I do 1 Protecting Spirit. Just because I can only get 1 right now, I would do 2. I would do like 2, 2, 2, like have them at 6, because she's freaking broken. So she comes out fairly easy. Like she's borderline. No, she's a hand trap. Let's not even be nice about it. She's a hand trap. She's like a side frame hand trap where she brings herself to the field, type shit. Like, and then just no. So she's really, really good. Trying to get a second one, but every time I'm looking at it, it's like they got 1 and then it's gone. So definitely a high sought after card right now. And then we're doing 1 Christia. Call it what you want, call it what you will. Again, this is pretty much like, as I'm in test playing and dueling and just like doing a lot of research, the monster build is pretty much for the agent, I should say, not fairy because they're all fairies, but the agent aspect of the deck, this is pretty much in support of it. So the agents can run by himself, and these ones just flow better when you're playing the deck. So especially when you open up with like these 2 cards or a light stage and just bring it out, and then you can just pop a back row or target a back row and then protect yourself and then go into the link, and then it's a whole bunch of craziness. It's a whole bunch of craziness. Alright, moving forward. Sorry for my little fake accent. I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. Alright. Hand trap time, right? So the hand trap, I don't even want to call it engine. The hand trap setup, right? Your hand trap package, I should say, should include a variety of things. But primarily, it should include things to stop your opponent from playing. Alright, and with that said, we're going to go into 2 Heralds, which is pretty much staple. You get to actually run it in this deck because it's a fairy deck. I also dump on 2 effect duelists because I'm just extra no on monster effects. I'm just like, no. 2 Ash Blossoms, 2 Bells, and then can't even say last but not least, we're doing 1 Skullmeister and 1 DD Crow. Yes, it is a 10 card hand trap package because I'm a hand trap savage. Alright, deal with it. Like, I'm sorry, but not sorry. If you're not playing hand traps, I'm sorry, but like, I've done got bad hands and just hand trapped myself out of it into a win. So call it what you want. I run hand traps, big fucking whoopee. Like, I'm not better than you because I run hand traps. You're just giving me an advantage over you by you not playing hand traps. That's all I gotta say about that. Yeah, I know it's a lot though, but in today's format, a lot of decks could do a lot of different things. So having like 3 of these or 3 of these and just 2 of these like it was a couple formats ago is not going to cut it. You need, especially with Brand Infusion out, you need to be able to stop Brand Infusion, stop their workaround around Brand Infusion, and then stop the monsters they're going to bring out because you stop Brand Infusion, you stop their workaround, and they might even have another workaround, so you might even use a DD Crow, or they might even have a negation towards your DD Crow, towards your Skullmeister, so you might even have to wait and let that rock and bring out and then negate the other stuff. It's a whole bunch of shit going on right now on the board. So you need to be able to stop some of it and like mitigate the damage. Like, because they're going to try to hit you. But you need to make that as hard as possible for that to happen. Especially in crunch time, especially when you're paying life points. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very, very difficult. But like I said, just to negate the monsters effects on field, just to stop them from searching, just to stop them from doing anything in the graveyard, and along with these as well. Like, I don't even know how to make it more simpler than that. So moving forward from the hand trap package, that is it for the monsters. I am running a 50 card build in this deck. If you want the complete details, look down in the description below. I'm not going to go into that because I have to recount because I don't know how many monsters I put, how many spell trap cards I put. But I put is 50 cards. Hard to stay at the 40 mark, but I've been trying it. So moving forward to the spell and trap cards, we're going to go 1 Sanctuary, 3 Sacred Waters, which is pretty much like the staple package, and 1 Chorus. Staple package, I've seen some people do 2. You can put it up to 6 if you want. Makes it a little bit more faster, a little bit more reliable. Think about, I might try it, but for right now, these 5 for me with the agents go pretty much along as well. On top of that, I'm doing 2 Light Sages, like I was saying, just to search out for the Corbanes and target and pop back row if they don't activate it by the end phase. So kind of like force out the Imperances and stuff like that. Right, moving forward, we're doing 1 Insta-Fusion, 1 Monster Born, 1 Call by the Grave, 1 Dark Ruler No More, 1 Foolish, and 2 Celestial Transformations. Now, bunch of hidden tech in this lineup right here outside of what's going on up there. Instant Fusion for your Fusion Fairy monster in your graveyard, just to give you another card on board, and it is a 2-star tuner, so it works very well in what you're doing with the level 10s. Monster Born, again, it's just an extra extender, just like Instant Fusion, but a free extender, so you can grab something from theirs. I don't have to explain Monster Reborn. If I do, go watch a Monster Reborn video. I don't know to tell you. So moving forward, Call by the Grave, because it's Call by the Grave and hand traps are real in this format. You might want to stop something outside of a hand trap that might activate in the graveyard. So pretty good with Call by the Grave. Dark Ruler No More. Opposed to me using this over like Harpy or let's say Regeki, or let's say even Change Your Heart right now in the format, I rather Dark Ruler No More because a lot of these cards have protection. And once you strip them of their protection, my monsters are allowed to do whatever they want to do to them. So that, in and of itself, is like skill draining the whole field. So it's like, skill drains your whole field for this one turn. Now I'm going to slap the dog shit out you. Is what I've been going for with the Dark Ruler No More. And it cannot be, like, stopped. So it's like, unlike a Regeki, where it's kind of like if they have protection from being destroyed, Regeki becomes kind of like a dead card. Whereas if you have Dark Ruler No More, you can just take away that protection and use your more powerful monsters to just run them over, or just use your monster's effects to pop them out or banish them or whatever you want to do to them because you got rid of their protection. Simple as that. Foolish, it speeds up the decks and puts bodies in the graveyard, especially when you're doing like Neptune or, what should I say, like if you're doing jumping to Venus just so you can bring out Venus of Destruction. Also valid. Move 2. Or even better, the main reason, Magistry Hyperzon, because you just want to fish them out and you really want to get a moon out, and you got Foolish Burial instead, so Foolish Burial is faster, you don't got to waste your moon on it. And then the Celestial Transformation is just to speed up like when I do have a hand and I want to go into like working around, like if I summon Earth and they'll go like Ash, Earth, and then I'll go Celestial Transformation and bring out like Creation of Venus from my hand and then start going into the Venus effect. So I'll like basically bait out the Ash a little bit and let them like, oh, haha, I was going to get Venus anyway, but I had a Venus in my hand, so special summon it. Now I get to start my bullshit. And I still have the 3 Shine Balls plus the Earth and now the Venus, so I get to do a Synchro and then start going into a whole bunch of link options. Really, really good card. Speeds up the deck really, really fast. And then 2 just for you can see it at consistency. Just for you can see it a lot more. So moving forward, that is it for the spell cards. We're moving on to the trap cards. Opposed to other builds that you might see, I'm definitely running a little bit more on the trap heavy side because I'm running 4 traps. Big whoop, right? So then those 4 traps are 2 impermanences, rounding out the hand trap package, 1 Fallen Sanctuary, and just to complete the little combo tech with Divine Punishment and Fallen Sanctuary, because you could search out Divine Punishment and then put down Fallen Sanctuary. So like when your opponent ends their turn, you could just go activate Fallen Sanctuary, go search it through your deck, bring out Divine Punishment, set it down, so on your turn you have 2 negates on your field. And if you have an impermanence in your hand, that's 3 negates. and then you can go into your next play without any worries in the world because you could pretty much stop whatever they're gonna do to you. So it's a really cool little tech combo. I've seen only a few people trying it. I definitely, once I seen Falling Sanctuary, I thought automatically Divine Punishment. I searched all my tins just to find me a Divine Punishment because I wasn't going to order it because I knew I had a play set because I bought the old school structure decks. So yeah, I wasn't doing that. So when I found them, I was like, yeah, Divine Punishment. I'm going to negate these motherfuckers. So pretty much what I'm doing right now, I have done some test plays. It is a beastly of a deck. Destructive and very powerful. But now we're going to move forward into the extra deck. Extra deck.
We are Duel Legion.
So, moving forward into the extra deck, we're just going to get it out the way and get things started with my Ulvain, the Essence of Vanity. This is your basic instant fusion target. Again, some people doing it, some people not doing it. It's just a added body on the board, and it's a 2-star tuner. So really, really good, especially when you're getting out your level 10s and you don't have to waste that normal summon on the earth. But moving along to the Link monsters, that's the only fusion you're really going to be running. You can do the level 5 tuner fusion monster, but this one just works out better. That one you got to use Venus to get the 8, and to get the 10 you gotta, yeah, it's the whole thing. It's a whole thing. You can use the core banes with it just to get the 10 out, but then like you can do that, so it is effective. But this is your primary, just to go with your highs because you get it back. And then you're going into your Mirage for your links. I know he's pretty much the meta card, and I even like hate using Hilo, but he's just really, really good, especially if you're using Formula Synchron. You get the draw off of it, and then it's a tuner. You know, it's a 2-star tuner again, so it's just really, really good. Can't expect too much, and you got to abuse him before he gets banished. So, one Moon. Some people are doing 2, but that's why I subsidized the second, not the second, but the Foolish Burial. Just to kind of like, I don't have to depend on this too much. In Foolish Burial, since I only have one, I chuck that one, and I'm pretty much starting my process. One Celestial. Perfect search. Great 3-star. And he's a great extender from the graveyard because he gets to banish a fairy and then special summon. Then we're doing 1 Link Spider because of, you know, your shiny balls. Shiny bolitas. But 1 Link Spider. We'll go into more detail, the other cards you can use besides Link Spider in our cards of note. But in my extra deck, in my main build, I'm running 1 Link Spider for the links. And to end off the links, we're doing 1 Appaloosa. She's pretty much, let's just say I'm happy she got reprinted and became affordable. Well, more affordable. I didn't want to break the bank on a card, I never do. But she's really, really good. Get you some negates on the field. Could stop your monsters, like stop your opponent's monsters, I should say. And she's just really, really good. I can't express the things she can do any more than that. But for the 1 Exceed that I running a Photon Lord, just for this instance, I'll show you. I'll burn out my Savage just in case. I'll get it with 1 or 2 negates on it. And once that burns out, I pretty much have to, like, I have the option. I could just link it off with another Magistry, bringing it back, and then just get my Photon Lord and use it to basically negate their monsters again. So it'll just be like having another Appaloosa on the board. Yes, I lose its protection because it won't be a Galaxy's Eyes on top of it, or underneath it, I should say. But I still gain a monster negate. So for that alone, it's pretty good just to have on the side, just in case you get in stickier situations. But that's the 1 Exceed I run in an extra deck. Just as I already showed it, might as well start it off with Savage. And then we're going into your Master Flare. Both really, really good. He provides interruptions, and he's just negation. So even with them on the field, you could kind of like stop your opponent dead in his track on their turn and then go into your turn and have 2,000-3,000 monsters on your field, like above 3,000 when we're talking about Master Flare. Running Sovereign. Again, this is a budget build, so I wasn't buying Herald, and I wasn't buying Baron. Maybe when they get reprinted, but until then, they're charging way too much. So I went Sovereign, just because he's also a great interruption that I could kind of like mitigate my opponent what they do, and so they'll still get a play out, but it won't be the play they're going for, which would leave them at a disadvantage if they don't have a really good or strong backup play once they get interrupted out of their main play. Moving forward, for the Dawn, it's an easy negate. A little harder to bring out the 7, but you can do it. It's not like impossible to do. You can do the 7. You can get the 7, and it'll just be extra negation. And then it gets spell and traps too. So you'll have these two to hit spell and traps, and then you can use your Appaloosa and your Photon Lord to really hit monsters effects. Also with your Mirage hitting spell and traps too. Speaking of Mirage, we're running one Arclight as well, to kind of like finish out the negations. Tribute itself, negate. Anything that goes to the graveyard gets banished once it's on the field. Really good card, especially if you want to, as they say, floodgate them and pretty much knock them out of their pacing. Again, along with your interruptions. It'll just add on to the annoyances that they have to deal with. And sometimes, since they're knocked out of their main play, sorry for the shaking, they will misplay on their second play if they're trying to rejuvenate, because it'll be a little bit of confusion on what they're trying to do. So that's like the great thing with that one. Then we're doing one Pluto, again for more interruptions. And it's negates and interruption with this deck to kind of fill out the control board. So as you set up your board and you get your monsters on set, you can interrupt their plays, save your negation effects, and just interrupt them. And if they really got a good second play and they go into it, then you can use your negations. Or if they're really just trying to bait you out, you can kind of go off in sequence, like, okay, negate that, negate that, and interrupt that. You know? Really, really good. And then to top it all off, we got one Formula Synchron just before the Helo. Call it what you want, call it what you will. This is my 15 cards. The Photon, you can say it's kind of like me omitting to me not having a Baron and
We don't talk
still
about
finding something to do with my 8s outside of the 2 10s I do have already. And especially since Majesty's so easy to get, and if I do burn out my Warlord Savage, then I can go and get another negation out. But just monster negation. They'll do the effect negations over here, and over there. Well, here, there, and yeah, that's pretty much it for the effect negation. Yeah. Okay, cool. For the card for the spell and trap negation. But that's pretty much my extra deck. Like I said, I'm gonna go into the other things you can run in your extra deck in my cards of note. All right.
Me like, fuck these bitches. We don't talk about the Herald. What the?